The subject is gradations of evil, gradations of sin, that there are such things. And my latest example, and I'm going to return to Aaron, who disagrees, and to whom I'm grateful for calling. One example is Noah. God obviously considers gradations of sins because God picked Noah to save Noah. I don't care whether you take the story literally or not. The point is the lesson. And the lesson is God recognizes better and worse people, just like their greater and worse sins. And we know why he picked them. He said it twice. Because he was a righteous man in his generation, or generations, the original Hebrew, and because he walked with God. So, Aaron, that's a challenge to you, my friend.
Hey, okay, so I just wanted to say, like, in the Bible, where does it talk about one sin being greater than the other?
Well, the Bible doesn't have to. For example, it lists various things. Some are called abominations, others are not. Some have a capital offense. You're executed for it. Others are not. So it's obvious. The American legal code doesn't say better or worse either. It's just it's built in.
Right. So when you say, some things you're executed for and all that, that's man that does the executing, because
it's God who demands it. I mean, that's the point.
But when I read the Bible, it says that God hates sin, period. Right? And so it also tells us that every day we have to die to ourselves because we do sin every day. That's why we're always in a state of repentance. Right? So
yes,
that's just my opinion.
But
I didn't call...
you're not answering. You're right. All of that is true, but it doesn't negate anything I'm saying. There are some sins that God says. God says when he creates the world, if you take a human life, by man should that life be taken, because the human being is created in the image of God. That's God speaking. God does not say if you steal, you should have your life taken. Only if you murder.
Okay, and so the last thing is, the whole point of my call was not to push my issue on anybody, but it's just to have a dialogue and learn. So,
good man. All right, good. I'm letting you go only because I want to take more, and thank you. That's fine with me. A dialogue and learn, I'm with you. Anyway, as you all know, my motto is I prefer clarity over agreement, so it doesn't matter if I agree with you. It matters that we're clear about where we differ. All right, Red. There's a good name. Red in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes. Hello, Dennis. How are you today?
Were you given the name Red by your parents?
I was, and would you believe it? My sister's name is Violet.
That's funny. That is legitimately funny.
It is a bit funny, yeah.
You realize your parents, if they'd had a lot of kids, they could have had the rainbow.
They could have.
Yeah.
They stopped at 2, though.
That's right. Here's yellow, and his blue.
I don't got a brother yellow or nothing.
That's true. All right, Red, take it away.
All right. Well, as I was telling your phone screener, like there is simple things like you shouldn't steal a pen, you shouldn't rape, but clearly stealing a pen is not as bad as raping. Yeah, and that's not so complicated, but also what's clear and apparent is that your adult diaper is e-fool.
Your what? Say that again?
Your adult diaper is e-fool. I can see it on the live YouTube. It's fool.
All right, very good. Let's go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and James. Hi, James.
Hey, Dennis. I agree totally with the idea that there are gradations of evil. I mean, there's small stuff that everyone does, and then there's large-scale evil, like them not letting you change your diaper until the end of the show.
Okay, there we go. This is the mature crowd calling in, and we go to Ritzville, Washington, and Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello. There's a commandment that says, thou shalt not bear false witness.
Right.
However, in the case of preserving the preserving life or taking care of your family, that is more important, and it is okay, as we see in the lesson of the dreidel, to deceive the governing authorities for the sake of preserving life in your family.
What does that have to do with the dreidel?
Yeah, well, the dreidel was the game, the dreidel is the game created to deceive the Greeks when they came in to arrest people for learning Hebrew.
Oh, I didn't know that. There you go. I did not know that. Anyway, nice. Yes, anyway, look, these are very tough moral calls. I mentioned in the beginning of the show, it's worth mentioning again in light of this call, that I would like to have you ask any Democrat in your family, do you believe that Donald Trump is a fascist, neo-Nazi, white supremacist dictator, or any three of the four? And if they say yes, then ask, so why is it immoral to cheat if you are counting votes? It's not immoral. If you believe you're preventing a neo-Nazi fascist dictator from being elected, it's moral to cheat. So you can't have it both ways. Gee, we wouldn't cheat. That's not, so don't even think of it. We just wouldn't. But why wouldn't you if you believe that Donald Trump is all those things? That's why moral clarity is perhaps the greatest thing that people could aspire to. There's precious little of it at our time. Back in a moment.